Yeah, the first card you have your past is the Wheel of Fortune. I love this. This is really positive. What I'm getting here is that, yeah, I'm getting this feeling of something, trying to move forward, trying to kind of get this wheel spinning, trying to get something off the ground. I think you were really, really trying to achieve something, and you knew you could do this. And you might have been observing other people as well. There might have been some other people doing this thing or a similar thing, and who were quite successful at it, and maybe you're looking at them and thinking, well, I could do that, or I could do that better. Actually, I could do whatever they're doing, and I could make a success of that. And yeah, you definitely can do that. I can see that. But I don't know if this is going to make sense to you, but I think a lot of these people are doing really similar things. It's almost as if they're copying each other. They're not copying, they're not like literally copying each other, but it's like a lot of people are doing a similar thing. This is some kind of work or business thing or something like that. And they're all kind of making a go of it. They're all quite successful. They're fine. They're going along fine. But they're all doing quite a similar thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think you're really unique in your approach. You have some kind of unique angle to this, or you have a creative angle, or something very different that you can add to this. And I think at this time you might have been feeling a little bit down, maybe because things are a bit stagnant with this thing, and maybe you felt as if you were at a roadblock and you had to get over it, and you kind of couldn't quite get this moving, you couldn't quite get this off the ground. That's what I keep seeing, because this wheel's a little bit like a wheel on a plane. That's how I'm seeing it. It's kind of, it's spinning and spinning, but it hasn't taken off yet. It needs to speed up, and then it needs to go down a long runway, and then it can take off after that. So there's a process that has to happen before it actually takes off. So this is going to take off for you. It is going to take time before that happens. And I think there are some things actually that you could look at to change to help it to speed up a bit. But I think they're only minor things. I think just keep on experimenting, changing little things. But I think it will take off eventually. It really will. And also try not to, because I'm seeing you looking at other people and what they're doing quite a lot. Try not to compare yourself with other people. Try not to say, oh, they're at that stage and I'm only here, and they're here and they're there. I mean, it happens quite a lot on YouTube with readers, actually, some of them, and with all sorts of different areas of YouTube, lots of different communities. They say, oh, they're at this many subscribers, they're at that, they're at this. They're just numbers. Everyone's at a different stage. So try not to judge yourself by what other people are doing, or kind of look at what everyone else is doing, because there's always going to be someone behind you. There's always going to be someone in front of you, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing. So there's no point in saying, oh, it's a race, now he's there, now I'm there. No, you're always going to have people who are better, or not better, but in front, and people who are behind. Everyone does. Doesn't matter who it is, unless you're PewDiePie and you're on YouTube. But yes, I'm not talking about him. So the next card you have for your past is the Eight of Wands. Yeah, again, look at this. This is about flying, just like this plane taking off. So, whatever this is, whether this is a business idea or whatever this is, it's going to take off really quickly. So this is slow, go down the runway, and then it speeds up, and then it takes off. That's what I'm seeing. And then it takes off really quickly. That's what's going to happen. So at this time, it's probably at the slow stage, and it probably doesn't feel good to you, but it is a good thing actually that this is happening. It really is, that it's slow at this time, because I think this is the time when you can experiment with things. So when things haven't quite taken off yet, this is the time you can kind of change things, mess around. Let's see what happens if I do this or that. And if things go a bit wrong, it's okay. It won't be a disaster, because you haven't gotten things at this other level yet. So, it's okay. So you can kind of afford to play around a bit. That's what I'm seeing in that. So, if this is all resonating, I know it probably feels frustrating to be at this stage, but things are progressing at the right pace at the right time. And while you're at this stage, I think this is telling you to, experiment, do things, see what happens when you do this and that, because later on you won't have the luxury of being able to do that. That's what I'm seeing there. The other thing I'm seeing is that, I think this is troubling me, because I think there's someone you probably should get away from if you haven't already. This is in the past, I know. Or at least distance yourself from this person. I'm just seeing someone trying to talk to you. Maybe they're trying to convince you to do something or agree with them or something. They're trying to push you. If you look at these wands, they're obviously been shot out like arrows, and they're flying in the sky and they're trying to reach a target. But they're flying right over this house. If you just look, there's a tiny house in the bottom left-hand corner. It's up on one of those hills. It's like one of those little tiny houses, but it's there. So, so then the wands are kind of flying over the house. And, sometimes houses can represent, the inside, the personal. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly. I'll try and tell you what I mean by that. The private thoughts, private feelings, what's inside of you. House can represent that, because your home is your private space. It's where you can truly be yourself. You come home from the outside world, you shut the door, you come in, you put some comfy clothes on. It doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your hair looks like, you're just in your home. That's your private space. And so I think what this is doing is it's warning you, this card, it's reminding you not to let this person into your private space. Keep them on the outside, don't open up to them. There might actually be some kind of love connection, I think, around this. It might be a love, or it might be an ex-love. I think it's probably an ex, because it's someone you don't want to talk to, or you get some negative feelings from them. So I think it's probably an ex. And if that's the case, I think you're right to shut the door on them, of your private home, of yourself, of your insides, if that's what you're doing. And, this thing's really going to take off for you. So, you just don't need someone messing with your head and trying to bother you and trying to force you to do things. No, you just don't need them. And, I'm really, really not getting a good feeling around them. So, if your instincts are telling you to get away, you're absolutely right. My throat's getting really sore. I'm just going to keep going. So, the last card you have, your past, is the Star. Beautiful. This is a beautiful woman. So, I think this is a love connection, or a past. I think this is a past love connection. I think this is actually an ex. So there's a lot of history behind this. You have a bit of a turbulent history with them, I think. And you just don't need that. You just don't want that again in your life. If you look at this, look at how peaceful this woman is on her own. I'm not saying you should be on your own forever, but you definitely feel a lot more balanced without this person around you. I think, you're really balanced, and then they try and come in again and you're kind of out of balance and in turmoil again. And I think this card's also showing you again about this dream, this business thing, or whatever this is I was seeing in the Wheel of Fortune. It's within reach. It's there. It's up there. The star's there. It's up in the sky. It's behind this woman. She's concentrating on what she's doing, and she can't quite reach it yet, but it's there. So she is going to be able to reach it later on. Sometimes when I look at these smaller stars around this bigger one, I see stepping stones, leading to the big one, little goals kind of going around, and you kind of step on each one and you go around, and then it leads to the big one. So, I think this is going to take time. I think you're going to have to reach a series of little goals before you get to the big one. So maybe instead of looking at this big goal and saying, am I ever going to get there? I'm really worried about this. It seems huge, out of reach, enormous. Think about all the little steps you have to take to get there, and concentrate on each of the little steps. It's probably easier for you to focus on the small step in front of you. Concentrate on that, tackle that. Then get to the next one, concentrate on that one, and then the next. And by the time you get to the end, you're almost at the bigger one, and then you just have a tiny way to go, and then you're there. So maybe think of it in that way, if this seems too big and kind of, too much for you, if it feels as if, you'll never reach it. This is telling you will, but you're going to have to concentrate on little things before you get to the big thing. That's what I'm seeing in that card. So the first card you have your presence, the Eight of Swords. Yes, it's not a very nice card. But, I think this is where you might have been with this person, and you're getting through that. I think you're realizing that's where you were. You used to be trapped with them, and now you're not, and you're kind of happy to be kind of working your way out of that. That's what I think. I think you're taking some time out to, investigate and maybe analyze why you attracted this person to you who keeps on giving these problems. I think they might even still be trying to contact you now, actually, in little ways, little messages and things like that. You're a lot stronger than you used to be, a lot stronger. I can see that. And that's because you do take this time out to really, really think about what went wrong, how you can improve, how you can stop attracting these kinds of people. And don't think I'm blaming you. I'm not saying, oh, it's your fault for attracting them. I'm not saying that. I just think, you're right to be analysing this. And I think as you analyse, as you keep going, as you keep working on yourself, you're going to become stronger and stronger and stronger. And really strong people actually repel these kinds of people. So that's what you're working up to. And yeah, you were trapped. You were trapped in all of this at one time with this person, in this relationship with them. And I think it was your feelings for them that was trapping you. I think your head knew for a long time this wasn't right for you, and I think you actually tried to leave a few times or distance yourself a few times, but your feelings always drew you back. They kind of led you back to this person, and then you were all trapped all over again. So, I think remembering this is a good thing for you. It might seem like, why do I want to remember how horrible it was with that person? But actually, this is part of you working through this. You're remembering this. You're saying, I don't want to go through that again. I don't want to let myself forget that. I don't want to let myself to forget that horrible time, because I don't want to fall into it at some time in the future again. It's a little bit like, I don't know if you know, but on some war memorials it has "lest we forget." And so it's like, you might think, war's terrible, why do we want to remember it? Well, it's so that we don't repeat the same things again. Obviously, a lot of people don't listen to that, and they do repeat terrible things again. There's a lot of terrible things going on in the world, but that's kind of what I'm seeing, that "lest we forget." It's like, of course, you don't want to go back and remember all the horrible things that happened, but you don't want to totally forget them, because when you go and you meet the next person and the next one, you want to make sure you don't fall into the same trap again. And this is a trap. That's what's on this card. So that's what I'm seeing there. So yeah, the next card you have your present is the Page of Pentacles. I love this card. It's so golden and sunny. So again, I think this is about this thing you're working on. And this is a really interesting pattern in these cards so far. Every time something comes up about this business or this work thing that you're working on, there's positivity. It's like you have the Wheel of Fortune and the Star card, hopeful, and then you have this one, so with all this gold all over it. So all of the cards that have this work project in, whatever this thing is that you're trying to get off the ground, are all really positive. So to me, that says that this is showing you where you need to focus. You need to focus on your work and this thing. Of course, you need to sort out your emotions and heal, and you are doing that. But, this is where your focus should be, definitely. There's definitely a lot of potential here. That's what this is telling me, because the pages can be about potential. They're teenagers, they're students. They haven't come into their potential yet, but the potential's there. And obviously, this is about coins, money. So this has the potential to be very lucrative for you as well. The other thing I'm seeing here is that I think you might be accepted into something, or you might be receiving something you applied for. It's something like that. I don't if you, I think you might have applied for something and maybe it was a long, long time ago and maybe you put it out of your mind and thought, oh, well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to sit there worrying about it. I'm going to try and put it out of my mind. And so it has been a long process, like you haven't heard anything about this. You know, probably every now and again you think, oh, is that actually going to happen? I don't know. Oh, well, I'm not going to worry about it. That's the kind of thing I'm getting around this. And I think you are going to see, you're going to get a message and you're going to find out about this. And I think it's positive. I think this is going to come in for you. You're going to be accepted into whatever this is. And I don't think whatever this is kind of directly related to this business thing or this work thing. But I think getting this is going to improve things for you. It might be some kind of membership of something, or it might be something, it might even be something like a passport that lets you travel and do kind of international business. It's something that's going to come in you've applied for, something like that. So yeah, the last card you have your presence, the 10 of Pentacles. So yeah, again, work, I'm seeing that in here again. So yeah, this is turning into a work reading. I don't mean it to. It's funny because this has happened in a few of these readings this week. A lot of people are really focused on their work and their business and all of that thing. So it's coming up a lot that the focus on a lot of readings has been work. So yeah, I don't know if you have a product around this thing, some kind of specific product you're wanting to invent or sell or something. There's a boat on this card. It's very, very small and it's right above this old man's head. So it's like someone's thinking about trade, which is what it symbolized in these days, in the days of the Renaissance. There was a lot of trade going backwards and forwards in Italy at that time. So he's thinking about trade, and this man on this card is probably an old man. He's probably been a merchant in his life, and he's built up this comfortable life for himself and his family, and now he's sitting there and he's looking back on everything he's achieved, and he's probably achieved that because he was in some kind of trade, a merchant or something. So yeah, so you might have a product or something, and it might be that eventually you're going to sell this, or you might have to go overseas and have this made in another country. It might be that as well, because I'm seeing a boat here, I'm seeing trade, travel, and I'm seeing that in the Page of Pentacles, so it might be that. The other thing I'm seeing is just be aware that if you're having to work with people on this project, or if you're relying on people to do things for you or to help you with things, make sure you have everything written down. Write down all your communication so that everyone can read it, everything's clear, and also so that you have evidence of what's being said, what's being communicated. Even if it's just text messages or emails or something, have a record of things, because I'm seeing people mishearing or maybe relaying the wrong information. I can't see whether anyone's going to be doing this deliberately or not to sabotage anything. They may or may not, I don't know. But if you have evidence, no matter what the reason is, that evidence is going to help you. So just be very careful around that. Especially, again, I'm seeing this again, you might be doing something that involves people from other countries, and there might be some miscommunication, maybe language, maybe some kind of cultural miscommunication or something. So have everything written down. Make sure everything's very, very clear around this work thing. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have for your future is the Ace of Swords. So again, this is it again. Get everything in writing. This card is about clarity. And it can also be about writing, the written word as well. So this is showing exactly the same thing again. I'm also seeing a lot of talking in this card, conversations. I'm actually seeing a group of people around you, and they're listening to what you have to say, they're asking questions. So, you know, it might actually be this product again, you might be presenting it, or whatever this work thing is, you might have to give a presentation. And I think whatever it is you do for your work, I'm seeing people looking up to you. People look up to you, they value your opinion, and actually they value you. They see a lot of value in you. And this is the kind of person you want to attract to you in love when you come out of this time of healing. Someone who sees the value in you and someone who values you. I'm just getting this feeling that you might actually end up with someone in the workplace, or someone who works with you in some way. It might be a client or something like that. I'm really getting this really strong feeling that this is where you feel strong, in the workplace or in this project or business. This is where you feel strong. This is where you feel on top of things. And this kind of strong vibe, this capable, this kind of confident vibe that radiates out of you, that's going to attract the right kind of person, and the opposite kind of person that this ex was. You're going to be strong, which is what you're working toward. I'm seeing that in the Eight of Swords. And that's how you're going to attract the right person. So, again, this is all going to happen in time. I think you have a lot of things to work through first, but I think eventually, obviously if you're single, this is where you're going to meet someone who's really, really special to you, around something work related. So the next card you have for your future is the Six of Cups. So yeah, you're still going to keep up with this inner work, which is really good. And you're still going to be looking back over the past, not just bad things, good things too. This is a positive card. And you're going to be doing all of that to help heal yourself. So that's really good to see. You're going to keep on with that. And this is a really comfortable scene. These people are wearing very comfortable clothes. Almost looks like a Renaissance type of a hoodie, actually. And yeah, they're comfortable, they're in the sun, and it looks as if they don't have any problems. So, and there's this kind of innocent love and friendship around this card as well. It's very innocent, very comfortable. It's like a spring day, where you're on holiday and you're outside in the garden. It's really nice and sunny. It's that kind of thing. So I think as you keep working through this process, working on yourself, I think you'll eventually feel a lot more comfortable, firstly in yourself, and then that's going to lead you to feeling a lot more comfortable with accepting a new person into your life. So you might not be at this stage yet, but I think, this is showing me that, you will do this. You definitely will work through this, and you will be a lot more comfortable with all of that area of your life. And I think, again, this new person is probably going to start off as a friend, even a colleague. It might be a colleague who's a friend or something. And I think you're going to be friends for a long time. Very innocent, it's going to go long. And then eventually it'll turn into more than that. So that's what I'm seeing there in that card. So the last card you have for your future is the Moon. Yes, this is a very moody, very kind of very complicated card, actually. I think this is about this ex. I think this is about this person who keeps on trying to engage with you. I was seeing a lot of the work you were doing, the inner work that you were doing, and you're doing that. This is about their inner work. I think they have a lot of work to do on themselves. I think they do have people around them. They have a strong group of people around them, helping them, advising them, helping them to change, helping them with things. I don't think they're actually listening at this time anyway. They might in the future, but they're not now. I actually think at this time they see anyone who gives them advice as someone who's nagging them. A bit like this dog and this wolf. They think, I'm the lobster, I'm coming up and I'm going past these people, they're trying to talk to me, all they do is nag me. Nag, nag, nag. And that might be what they said about you when you were trying to talk to them, I don't know. But that's how they're seeing things at this time. So they haven't gotten past that very basic level of anyone who tries to advise me is just in the way, I have to get past them. And I think if they're in the Moon card, if the Moon card is about them, they're going to be forced to soul search eventually. They're going to be forced to really look at themselves. They can't right now, but in the future, they are going to be forced to do that. That's what I'm seeing. But that's really, their own problem, because I really do think that you are at the stage where you're really shutting the door on them. You're really not going to engage with them anymore. You've been through that over and over again with them, and that's that. You're moving forward. So Scorpio, I really hope this resonated, but general readings can't always resonate with everyone, as you know that. But again, if you like this reading, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment if you'd like to. And thank you so much for watching.